All right, serious and silliness bodybuilding. I am joined by Rob Van Zant, who is an IFBB Classic Physique Pro, and he is going to help me describe what happened at the Olympia with Bumstead's fifth Classic Physique win, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So we were
Sorry,
both
I just
watching it, right? We were both watching it, and I have you on because you're in the Classic Physique world and you concentrate on that. So what I want your take is: do you think he deserved this fifth title?
yeah. I still think he ran away with it. It
Yeah,
was his from the moment he showed up, and I know that's not everybody's favorite opinion on it, but it's getting closer. Like Ramon definitely started closing the gap, like he's saying, like he was heavier. Chris Aceto, I believe, said he was out at like 232 as of this morning. His
yeah.
cap is 232, if I'm not mistaken. Right on it. Chris still isn't at his cap. I think it's like 242 or upper in that
Mm.
range. He's just This is just what he's supposed to do.
Yeah, I
And
agree.
people are very
I think he is going from here on in. I mean, I don't know what his future is going to be like, but he pretty much set the standard. You know,
yeah.
his shape, his structure is pretty much what classic physique is all about. And I agree that he ran away with it pretty much. Ramon throws me a little off with his forearms. They're so massive that it kind of takes away from his biceps and the rest of his body when he does the
Yeah,
front double by. What do you think?
yeah, he's got amazing arms. I would argue better than Chris's because Chris is kind of known to have like smaller arms relative to the rest
Mm-hmm.
of his physique. I think, in my opinion, what kind of throws it off for Ramon, even if just a little, is that his arms are so good that it almost overshadows his lats
Yes,
from the
it
front,
overshadows the
especially how
rest
he
of them.
poses.
I agree.
From the rear, he looks great, and he almost looks the same damn size as Chris in a lot of these poses.
Keep talking because
Um,
I'm gonna pull up some pics
sure,
from Instagram. So go ahead.
yeah, yeah, of course. Because from the rear, it's pretty close. From the side, Chris walks away with it. The side of his quad sweep is just ridiculous. Like there are lines in his quad that like no one else even has half of.
Okay, so here's a can you see this, Rob?
I can. Yeah, I can pull it up on
Okay.
my computer. Actually, I got it here too.
Oh, so this is the top four,
Yep.
and we got Chris Bumstead. Right, Breon came in fourth.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
came
yeah.
in
I
right.
squeaked in right before Terrence. Terrence took fifth.
That's right. So we got Bumstead takes his fifth win. Ramon Kem's in second. Urs was third, and Breon was fourth. Right.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So break it down with us. Why Chris obviously runs away with this pose, as far as I'm concerned. And like I said, it's because it seems to be his shape and his balance, and he's symmetrically superior to everybody else. Like you said, as great as Ramon is, his arms are so big, it almost takes away from the rest of him, especially his forearms. He's got Popeye forearms, you know.
Yeah. No, I see what you mean there.
But what?
What is kind of ironic though when you say like just for a little bit, it's interesting because Chris, if you've seen him from the rear, has that like almost like ball or knot in his one hamstring. I
Okay,
don't know
look.
for a fact that that's an injury. His one quad seems to have like a similar situation to it.
Okay, let me see
Um,
if I could find some rear shots. Then
yeah, any rear double bicep, you'll see. I believe it's in his right hamstring.
let's see if I could go to classic.
Oh yeah, they may have it. So they have the pre-injury
Uh,
pics from the on the NPC News Online website, which I've been going through a little bit.
all right, let's see. I usually go to either RX because they've been on top of it because they're there,
Yep.
or I've been going to Fernando. All right, that's because his favorite classic pose. And let's see, even if we get okay, here we go. All right.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So right here, what do you think? I think Chris takes this shot. His legs
He
look
does.
superior. What do you think?
They're like gnarly as far as conditions concerned. And Ramon looks amazing. Like we can't deny that, but it just Chris just doesn't. It's not the same level yet.
Yeah. Yeah, he doesn't seem to ever slip. And here's that front double by. And here's what I mean by the arms kind of take away
Yeah.
from the rest of him because whereas Chris is just overall better balanced, right? Like nothing's out
Yeah,
of
how he
balance.
poses it too just looks better. It is straight on. It's not like that classic serpentine-esque kind of shape, but it doesn't need to be with Chris.
R-
There's no reason for it.
Right.
Like with Ramon, it looks wonderful. I think it's great. I think it throws off his lats maybe just a little bit, but I mean,
What
otherwise,
you mean this tilted kind of
yeah, because it favors the one lat strongly, but the other one almost disappears in my opinion, or at least from this
I
angle.
see, I see. Okay. So on here we have the see again, Chris just destroys him in
Yeah.
this pose. The this side chest, he just looks amazing compared to Ramon in this pose. This might be Chris's most superior pose over Ramon. What do you think?
Yeah, there's not really a comparison with this one. Like, not to sound like a dick or everything. Obviously, Ramon looks amazing, but like Chris,
Yeah.
like you see it right then and there. Like you
Yeah,
really can't pick it apart.
I mean, yeah, his quads, the conditioning in his quads, the hamstring drop, you could see the crazy striations in his glutes. He has really good density, obviously, because he's bigger this year, and still with the density, he has the striations, the muscle separation in his shoulder, bicep. I mean, maybe it's the way Ramon is hitting the pose, but clearly, I think we can see that Chris is far superior in this pose. Let's go to the next one. Okay. Oh, is this what you mean right here? That little lump?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't know what that is. Yeah, you're right. And why does Ramon look so smooth from
That's another thing I noticed from this year versus last year. Ramon almost looks like he was in better conditioning last year, as if like they sacrificed it in order to gain that little bit of weight, or maybe it was a lot of weight. I'm not certain what his weight was last year. It,
do you
I
think
think it's
that
more so like a bad picture, or
it
he
could
couldn't
be
have pulled it.
it could have been it could be. Listen, we're just looking at pictures. I mean, we were watching live stream. I think even if Ramon did even if I think Chris is so much superior in this shot that even if Ramon did have
Yeah,
shredded hamstrings, I think Chris would still beat him in it.
yeah, he
Like
would.
Chris in this, Chris looks fantastic in this
He
pose.
does.
I mean,
Yeah, he
he's
fills it down trouble.
it's almost flawless to be honest with you. And I'm not a Bumstead fan.
Yeah.
I'm calling it as I see it. I think Chris really looked far superior in the shot. Um, and I think he was, one step above everybody else. Let's see if we
Oh
can
yeah.
find another couple of shots. Okay, so that's one or two. Let's see if we could. Why do you think? Why do you think they gave Urs third and not Breon? So let's look at Urs, right? I mean, we're only
Yeah.
doing one because Breon to me. I mean, look, I don't know. This is why I have you on. Breon to me looks more classic, if that sounds right. But because to me, he just has rounder muscle bellies. He has. It looks like he has better arms. Is it the conditioning? What is it?
It's interesting you say that Brown looks more classic because I would argue he
You know
looks
what?
more like a bodybuilder
You're 100
versus
percent right,
Ramon.
and this is why I have you on. You're 100% right because again, because I'm so passionate about bodybuilding, my eye goes to the bodybuilding looking guy,
Perhaps, yeah,
and,
yeah.
and go and I go, well, why don't they give it to him? And this is why I have you on. But go ahead. So break down why you think Urs took it over Breon.
Take a look. The biggest thing they're always going to mention is like the flow of the physique, and it's not that Breon doesn't have it. I
Mm-hmm.
think what may have given him, I mean, we're talking about a little bit of trouble, right? He still took fourth place, so it's like we're splitting hairs here.
Right.
But for the most part of this year, he was preparing to do 212. So it's not like he was
Mm,
training to have the classic look. I think this was a last minute decision with the added weight
mm.
increase. Um,
Okay.
that's what Cormier was commenting on Olympia TV.
Very good point.
So maybe that had something to do with it, and he just like he couldn't commit full speed ahead to either direction, so he kind of stopped short, began late with Classic. Had he spent the entire year prepping for Classic, perhaps he would have beat yours. Perhaps he would have come in second. Like who really knows?
Right. I'm gonna
Um,
try to get
could have just been timing of the prep, if anything.
okay, so here's Urs down here. Yeah, you know what? You're right. He just looks. You're right. You're 100% right. He looks fantastic. Um, and
He
this is
does, and he seemed to look
This is rough
surprised.
diesel down here in the right hand corner, right, or lower right corner.
Yeah, Terrence.
Okay, let's see what other picks they got. Okay, great. All right, this is great. Yeah, even here you could see Erz's. I'm sorry, Ramon's hamstrings aren't dialed in like Chris, Erz, or Rough Diesel.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it also
This
might
also
be the way
makes
he
the
holds
picture,
the
but
pose. Say that again, Mike. Rob,
could be
sorry.
the picture, could be the pose. Because I was looking through the individual shots from the morning prejudging routines, and it's like he'll hit it, it'll look damn near perfect, but then they'll go soft for a moment, or maybe 2 moments, or like
Mm.
just long enough. It
I
seems to
see
be
what you're
his
saying.
adductors actually. If I go through the side by side here, it's like his glutes almost get a little softer. His left hamstring disappears. It's
Okay.
almost like he just loses the engagement.
Okay. So it might be a posing issue then.
Yeah, I mean, at
Okay.
this level, that's kind of all it is, right? Like, the physiques are damn near perfect for what they are.
Yeah, good
It's
point.
just
Good
a
point.
mere presentation.
And I could see Ers is yeah, probably the third best rear double by as far as detail is concerned. Because yeah, his hamstrings. Yeah, these guys. The one thing I got to give classic physique guys, they come in chiseled, man. They can't let. I mean, look how close it is.
And
They can't let one little door open a squeak. Otherwise, they're gonna lose it. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Because
yeah, of course. I mean, and what helps is the weight cap too. Like they are limited by whatever heights or weights associated with their height.
see if I get.
Um,
Here we go. His Ers. Okay. All right, here we go. Here's a
oh yeah.
decent posing routine. All right. See again. Okay, so just tell me why you think they gave him third over Breon and Rough Diesel.
With Rough Deal, with Terrence in particular, I think what it is, because I heard somebody comment on this earlier. I don't know if it was the wrap up show with Ron Harris and Jose Raymond, but and I don't mean to sound like critical of him. This is just kind of regurgitating what I've heard is that Terrence isn't necessarily bringing anything new, if that makes sense. So he can be as
No,
great as he's ever been, but if it's not new, it kind of there's nothing exciting about it
no improvement. Where Ers
relative to the
improved.
other guys. So if Urs improves and it's noticeable and it looks different, that's going to catch the eye.
Ah,
Um, Whereas Terrence or Breon may just be at that point in their lives because they're older, certainly older
right,
than these guys, where consistency is really just going to be a matter of catching somebody who's not on for that day, like what Dexter Jackson would do. Like he
okay,
was consistent. It was pretty much the same package each year. He would catch anyone who was off. Like if you slipped, if you weren't as conditioned as you were last year, Dexter would jump ahead of you. That might be the same thing for Terrence. I mean, Terrence was sixth last year. Now he is at fifth because somebody else just wasn't on, perhaps.
right, right. I hear what you're saying. Okay, here's Terrence here. I mean, these guys look they're peeled to the bone.
Yeah,
You know,
Terrence is really good. He had competed I almost want to say two shows this year. He won Legion and he
that's
won
right.
another show over in the Middle East, if I'm not mistaken.
And
Maybe even something a little bit
I believe there were 40 classic physique guys on stage, right?
upwards of
Four,
40.
yeah,
Yeah.
and they all won a show. Those are the rules. So that's
Yeah.
impressive.
Sixth place, if I'm not mistaken, was Michael DeBull. I competed with him twice. I was kind of hoping he was going to squeeze in there past Terrence.
All right.
He's pretty insane.
I don't think there is a shot of
There may not be,
Michael the
no.
Bull. Well, let's check out Breon here. You know what? You made a really good point. He really was going to go to 212. And
Mhm.
then you're right. It was when they made that weight change is when he was like, I'm sticking to classic. So look at the
Yeah,
peaks on his body. You know, you're 100% right. I keep going to him because it's more of a bodybuilder's build. But in classic physique, there are different standards. And yeah, and if you're gonna go that route, then yeah, as much as great as he looks, the three above him have more of a classic physique. You're 100% right.
yeah. And it is hard to tell. Like I'm certainly not great at differentiating the physiques, but like you can recognize like the general silhouette
Yeah,
as registering classic as opposed to more bodybuilding. Um, which admittedly always threw me off about George Peterson the third, George the Bull Peterson, who unfortunately passed away a couple years ago.
right.
Um, Fantastic, but I had always seen him as like a 212 guy, I think.
Yeah,
Like I believe I saw him turn pro at the Universe, and that
that's right.
was 2017, 2018, if I'm not mistaken. Um,
I,
and then
I
seeing
agree
him,
100%. And he was going to do 212. Is that accurate?
he had been competing in 212 actually.
He
I think
had
he
been.
did third in
Okay.
his last appearance.
Okay. Okay. Now, Breon was a former classic physique Olympia champion. Am I accurate?
Yeah, two-time. The second and third year, he beat Danny
Okay.
Hester, and then he retained, and
Right.
then Chris
Then
came after
Bumstead.
him.
Yeah. That's right. You're 100. Okay. You're 100% right. Okay. And let's just check out Ramon while we're doing this. Ramon's, yeah, he has the deep ab separation,
I was just looking at those actually.
deep
Yeah,
ab separation. Um, but his arms are massive, which is probably, look, we're picking at straws here, right? We're
yeah.
because these guys are so good. We're just trying to figure out why somebody is in second, third, and fourth, as opposed to, because we know Bumstead ran away with it.
Yeah, I mean, I even went so like just the last couple of years, it's pretty much been the same top five,
Right,
2023, 2022, 2021, with the exception of fifth place, I believe.
right.
Chris, Terrence, Breon, Urs, Ramon. The only time it was different is that Mike Summerfield slipped into fifth place last year because
Mm-hmm.
Terrence was on. But other than that, very consistent group. It's just second to fifth seem to slip around a little bit.
Yeah, impressive so far. So far, we've had a really, really impressive Olympia.
Yeah.
That being said, now that Bumstead won 5, what do you see? What do you see him doing now? I mean, if I were him, I would retire.
I
You
would.
won for
I would want him
yeah,
to. I don't want him to lose if I'm going to be like selfish about it.
right.
5 wins is wonderful.
5 wins. He set the standard. He has a fan base like no other person in bodybuilding. He literally brought in bodybuilding for the industry. He brought in people that have no idea what bodybuilding is and put eyes on him, put eyes on the industry. And he's got no money problems. He's loaded. He's got what, I don't know how many followers on Instagram. The guy could literally, if he plays his cards right and invests right, and he could literally just glide through life financially from here on in, as long as he doesn't get a bad drug habit or gambling habit.
He's just got to invest in. He's set. I
Yeah,
mean, he's got the autoimmune disease, so his time's limited to begin with.
yeah, he has a kidney issue too, right?
I'm not confident. I do believe it is his kidneys.
Yeah, don't quote me on
Um,
that, but I that's just hearsay. I'm not 100% sure, but
yeah,
I know he was borderline having issues at the earlier this year, right?
honestly, I think
Some
I've
health
kind of heard
issues.
throughout the years, each prep is kind of something new for him and like how he's managing it.
Yeah,
I
so
would say the first year he won was like maybe the roughest, but I could be mistaken. I know he's
you
won
might be
with,
right.
like, crazy circumstances,
Right.
but they have to keep that stuff secret the best they can because they don't want that getting out. Rumor has it that the impression is if the judges catch you that you're injured, you're sick, something's going on, they may consider that when they see you on stage, not intentionally. Perhaps it's like a subconscious
Mm,
thought or bias. Because I know a lot of these guys have issues. Urs was hospitalized the week of the Arnold Arnold Classic this year. Still took second. Didn't tell anybody until after the fact, if I'm not mistaken.
gotcha.
Um, just because walking into the show, had a judge found out, you'd like to think it wouldn't matter in the placings, but you just don't know. Like, why take that risk?
Right,
So I
right,
think a
right.
lot of these guys have a lot more issues than they allow us in on, which is fair. It's also just not our business.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, with Chris, it's kind of a question of like how much longer can he do this without kind of tipping the other way as far as his health is concerned.
I mean, listen, look, I get the mindset of an athlete, a competitive athlete is like no other. We've always seen more times than not, they stay in the game too long because they can't seem to step away, right? Or they step away for a little bit amount of time and they come back and they're a shell of themselves. We've seen this time and time again, right? Cameron Lavrone being a great example. But if he plays his cards right, financially, he could be another Jay Cutler. I,
Oh,
you know, he's got the money, he's got the following. Invest. I mean, if he literally invests in anything fitness or bodybuilding related, it is going to do well, no matter what, because
yep,
he's Chris Bumstead. That's it. Like anything.
yeah. He's
You know,
got a, if I'm not mistaken, he has clothes or at least shirts. He has a supplement line already. He's earlier this year I heard he was aiming to open up a gym or invest in a gym. He's
mhm.
part owner of Revive MD, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. So he's
Um,
set. He's set.
he's making moves. Like he's got a good head on his shoulders. He's smart. He's wise with his money. It sounds.
Right.
He's turned down offers for like $3 million with other companies just because, like, to quote, I do believe the number he had mentioned was $3 million turned down for the sake of pursuing his own brand, like his own company, what he's working with, all this stuff, because he
Right.
believes in himself.
Yeah.
And he's
And,
got the
and
support
and
system.
as he should, because like I said, he puts his name on anything. And that
Yeah,
$3 million is a drop in the bucket as compared to what he could actually make himself, because he built his brand. And if anything, a guy like him, listen, I'm not a huge, and I sound like a Bumstead fanboy. And what I want to stress is that I'm not, but I'm recognizing how good he is for the sport, how good he is as a human being, and how good he can be, and probably is as a businessman and branding himself, right? So I want to stress that, because what I try to stress is take your emotions out of your opinions, right? Because they don't work well together. But somebody like Bumstead, who nobody says a bad word about. He literally is the poster boy for bodybuilding in general, not just classic physique. In general, the poster boy for bodybuilding, right? You ask any 20-year-old kid in the gym who he knows from bodybuilding, Bumstead. That's it. That's all they know. They don't know Hottie. They don't know Samson. It's Bumstead.
yeah,
Any business opportunity, people would jump out with him because he doesn't have a dark side that follows him around. He has he's intelligent, well spoken. I mean, he literally is a person that anybody who wants to brand themselves should follow his footsteps, if that makes sense.
okay.
Okay,
He's a
you
great role
know,
model. This is what it boils down to.
yeah, right. So if I were him, five classic physique Olympias, he is a superstar among superstars. Take the fifth O, walk into the sunset, and just make your money. Maybe have a family. Do what you got to do, and you could really go into different endeavors. He's got plenty of opportunities, I'm sure, and that would be my recommendation, because these are look, like you said, the guys are just going to get better and better, and sooner or later, Father Time's going to catch up. Look what happened with Clarita yesterday. Nobody had any idea. He takes off his shirt. He looks fantastic, but that
Yeah,
little bit of a distension and that little bit of width on his waist that we didn't see last year or the year before, and now all of a sudden, here's Keon
yeah.
just nails it, closes the door. And like you said, we don't want to see that happen to Bumps. I'm just right off into the sunset. You're the best, and that's it. But anyway, Rob, once again, thank you so much. Appreciate
Yeah.
you coming on and talking to me about classic physique. Obviously, you'll be on again soon, sooner or later, I'm sure.
Perfect.
And what's the plan for you before you go? What are you doing for 2024? Do you know?
I got a couple ideas. The Pittsburgh Pro was a really good experience for me last year, so I might repeat that.
Mm-hmm.
I do have a mind to drive up to Toronto just for the fun of it, go back up there. Because when I was in Toronto, it was 2021. We were still dealing with Canada's restrictions or
Mm.
unrestrictions. So I'd like to see the Toronto Pro Show back as it should be.
Right, right,
Uh,
right, right.
so I might give that a shot. But I think I'm going to stay more so like the Northeast, anywhere I can drive to. So that's New York, Pittsburgh, Toronto. Um, but ultimately, I'm not sure. These are ideas, and anything can change. Like something could change with my job. I'm trying to get into a different position at the company I'm currently working with, which I'm just at
Mm-hmm.
an Amazon warehouse, but I'm in the process to interview for loss prevention. That could be an
Great.
entirely new schedule, an entire new anything, right?
Right, right, right,
Um, so having fun with it, I would say maybe Pittsburgh, New York, Toronto, those three.
right.
Initially, I wanted to do Texas Pro next year. I just don't know that I do so well prepping through summer. It's just been a lot easier for me to prep through spring and then enjoy
Right.
summer, enjoy fall, enjoy the holidays.
Right. Right.
Um,
Right.
I was going to compete in the show in either California or the Hurricane Pro last month.
Mm-hmm.
4 weeks in, I just decided like I had a really good year. I'm happy.
Yeah.
I had family see me compete that's never seen me compete before. I had a wonderful experience. So I just gave it a break. We got the new bump in height, or I'm sorry, in weight.
Yeah. That's right.
5 additional pounds I can grow into. Not that I was close to my weight class, but now I'm motivated to do so. If I can't break like 222 rather out of like a weight cap of 227, I'm probably still not ready to go back on stage because I'm looking to break top five now. I broke
Mm-hmm.
top 10 in Pittsburgh. That was an accomplishment. I placed in New York Pro. That was an accomplishment. Now I'd like to progress and be a genuine contender.
Right. All right. Very cool, man. I appreciate you coming on. Rob Van Zant, if you want to follow him on his classic physique journey, what's your Instagram, Rob?
VanSant.ifbb.
Okay, it will be in the description, so people could just click and go join you on in your journey on your classic physique journey, and that's it, man. Again, appreciate you coming on, brother. Truly appreciate it, man.
Of course, John. Thank you.
All right, brother. Later.
Enjoy your night, man.